Hi, welcome to the ASP workshop on foundational skills. So these are going to give you the basics on how to do well in school. Keep in mind, we have in-depth workshops on each of these topics, but this one is just a quick, simple rundown of what you need to know in order to start off really well for the semester. So, first of all, what goes into a grade? So, your grade is made up of usually these three things. You want to guess? I'll give you a chance to guess. Okay. Assignments, tricked ya, exams, and participation. So obviously with participation, that includes attendance. You need to be there in order to participate. And then with assignments and exams, you can check for the dates on those in your course outlines and the syllabi. Now, one thing to notice is that when the professors give you their syllabus, you can check on there and see how much each of those components counts for your final grade. So it might be 30% of your final grade comes from the assignments and papers, 40% comes from the exams, and 30% comes from participation. Participation is a great way to get those points up there. So, good stuff. It's simple, but it's not easy. So that comes back to discipline and the choices that you make, which we're going to talk about now with goals. So goals, what is your why? What's the reason behind your wanting to do this work? And it could be anything. It could be an external reason, like your parents want you to do well, or an internal reason, like you want to get into med school. But whatever it is, as long as you have a reason, it helps you stick to the hard work and the discipline that it takes to do this. So here are some example reasons. You want to get a good GPA, you want to earn a scholarship for grad school, you want it to look great on your resume, you get the idea. Or if you're sitting there and you're like, I don't have a reason, this stinks, now I can't do well in school. No, that's not true. There's a universal reason and a universal why that works for everyone. You ready for it? Here it is. It's going to be a quote by Steve Prefontaine, who is just one of the greatest, most inspirational runners of all time. It says, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. So let that sink in for a second. That's beautiful. Like, you have all this potential, why not use it? So it's awesome. One of our favorite philosophies in the Academic Success Program is work smarter, not harder. So it means doing more in less time and doing quality work rather than quantity. So there's certain strategies for school stuff that you can do in order to do this. Now that we have the why and the goal and the reason behind your goal down, we're going to get into strategies. Speaking of goals, though, if you want help with setting them, we have a goal worksheet on the section of our website called Motivation and Goal Setting. So that's there for you. So like I said, strategizing leads to success. There are certain tricks and tools that you can use to do well in school. And it's all learnable. You don't have to feel bad that you don't know this yet if you don't. Or if you already do and you just want some extra brushing up on this stuff, it's great. A lot of people don't learn this until way after college. So nice job on watching this video. You're getting a head start here. Time management. It's one of the biggest ones that you hear people talking about. So, a couple things. Again, these are just the basics. We have a full time management ensemble on the website and workshop. So, first of all, your planner is your new best friend, all right? So whether that planner is in your phone, in like your iPhone calendar or whatever, or on the computer, or an actual, I don't know if you remember those hard copy things that you can actually touch with the pages, books, you know, those. So you can get one of those. It's like a little planner. That's my personal favorite because you could just always have it on you and writing it and whatever. You want to put everything that you have going on in there. So not just your school stuff, but obviously, you know, test dates, paper due dates, all those kinds of things. But then even social things, like if it's your mom's birthday on Saturday and you have to go back out to Jersey or wherever to celebrate that. You want to put in every single thing. If you're on a sports team, you want to put all your competitions. If you are in our amazing communication, film, drama program here, you want to put in all those events because that really fills up your schedule also. And it's basically the idea is that you have one central location that you can see everything that you have going on. It makes it a lot easier to realize, oh, I only have this much time, instead of just flying by the seat of your pants and not knowing what you have going on tomorrow. The planner is an amazing, helpful tool for that. One last thing about the planner, when you get your syllabus in the beginning of the semester from the professor, you can go in there and write all the dates that you have from those different syllabi into your planner. So test this day, blah, blah, blah. I definitely suggest doing that, even though it might seem a little tedious. It really helps in the long run and saves time. Now I'm going to use a phrase coined by one of our awesome grad assistants in the Academic Success Program. Her name is Elena. She says time management is really self-management. Because time management is one of those buzzwords that's been thrown around so much, like what does it even mean? So really what it's about is managing yourself. Now, 2 ways to do that. 1, treating your school week like a 9-to-5 work week. So basically that's just what it sounds like, but it's pretty cool because you can most likely fit all of your classes into an 8-hour block, right? Or give or take, whatever. But if you treat that like a work day and say, okay, I have class at 10, so from when that class is over, I'm going to do 45 minutes of work, eat some lunch, and then go to my next class. So it's using those gaps of time in between classes to get stuff done. Now the amazing thing about treating your, school week like a work week is that then you have your nights and weekends free. You may have to tweak it here and there, especially when it's finals week or other things, but it's an awesome plan because instead of saying like, oh, I'm going to go back and nap after this class and blah, 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 it's like, okay, here's my structure. Structure is a huge one, and that's something that people kind of struggle with in college because you have so much freedom. But the 9-to-5 work week, school week is one way to solve that problem. Now the other thing is choices. Again, this goes back to your why and the reason that you're doing this, so thinking of that is helpful, but here's a quote that also might make that choices issue clear. So it's a quote by a peer of yours. He is a great student. His name is Adam Davis, and he says, the reason most people fail instead of succeed is that they sacrifice what they want most for what they want most now. So it's that idea of putting in the work now to reap the benefits later. You could totally do that. It's worth it. Note-taking. So a lot of people come into school and are like, all right, my professor talks way too fast, I don't know what to write down, what's important. Here's some basic tips on that are just getting the foundation of notes structured there. So, having a notebook or binder, that's a good one, or a computer. If you legit think that your computer is more helpful for you, not if it's like, oh, well, it's great because then I can see, Facebook. People don't really do Facebook that much anymore, right? That's what I've heard. But whatever is going on with your computer, as long as you can put those distractions away, if that works better for you, go for it. Sections, so either way, notebook, binder, or computer, you want it to be organized. So obviously with a notebook, you want one notebook per class. With a binder, you want to have sections, and with a computer, you want to organize your files. Put the date on everything. This might seem like not that big of a deal, but it is so helpful when you're going back at the end of the semester and going through your notes. Lastly, zhuzh it up. That's how I think we should spell zhuzh. But basically making it your own style, personalizing it. So if you love pastel colors, buy a bunch of pastel gel pens and use that for your notes, or get a neon orange marble notebook if that's your thing. But just making it fun, making it your own. The more you do that with your school stuff, the better. And some hardcore note-taking tips, because those are just the foundation, like simple stuff to put in place. But some real methods of note-taking are on our website. So there's the Cornell method, outlining, charts, and concept mapping. So those are some like hardcore strategic ways of taking notes that you can use. Reading. So reading is a big one because it's really important for class, but how many of us really do it? Not a ton. But here's a good realistic way to get that, to fit that in. So when you're actually reading, you want to know first going into it what kind of information you're trying to get from that. Because it's not always the case that you're going to sit down and read line by line. It might not be necessary. So there's different types. Scanning is when you're looking for specific information and you're just kind of breezing through and getting the general gist of it. Skimming, similar to scanning, but it might be something like, oh, I'm reading the first line of every paragraph and then breezing through the rest. Analyzing is when you are expected to really read line by line and pick out whether, if it's a novel, you're picking out like symbolism and knowing the characters' names and those kinds of things. And then in a textbook, you're picking out what the important elements are, but also knowing the details. Now, something that's really helpful for that, because that's a challenging type of reading that requires a lot of thinking. Use a pen and just tear that thing up. The textbook is yours. You can write all over it. So circle things that you don't understand, put a big question mark next to it, put a star next to things you think are important, jot down little notes to yourself so when you go back and read it, you don't have to read the whole paragraph again to know what that part was about. You could just say, oh, there's my little 3 keywords to myself. Keep it simple, but use a pen while you're writing. Very helpful. Again, we have a whole reading strategies workshop on this because I know this is just very quick tips, but so those are some helpful things. And then the 4th way of reading is just love. You just will love what you're reading once you figure out the strategies to do it and employ them. So, yeah. Studying. So, when you actually have managed your time beautifully enough that you can sit down and actually put in some studying, a lot of times we'll sit down and be like, oh, okay, I don't really even know what I'm supposed to be doing here. So, one idea for structuring your study time and making yourself actually focus when you do it is doing a little bit a lot instead of a lot a little. So let's let that sink in. Doing a little bit a lot instead of a lot a little. Let me give you an example, a non-studying example. So if you lived in a mansion, because you're super successful after you graduate, which you will be, and you need to clean it, would you prefer to clean for 15 minutes a day for like 2 weeks, or would you prefer to clean it for like 7 hours one weekend? Obviously 15 minutes a day. So same thing with studying. If you have a test coming up in 2 weeks, you might want to put in a half an hour every day, and then like maybe a little bit longer the couple days before. Or if you have to sit down and study for 8 hours, for whatever reason, maybe you have to put in a cram session, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to study from now until 10 o'clock at night, you might want to say, okay, I'm going to take a 45-minute chunk here and just get this chapter done, or whatever it is, and then take a break, go call my mom, or walk across the hall, or get a drink of water, get a snack. Make sure you're eating during the day, that's very important too. But anyway, doing a little bit a lot instead of a lot a little is a much more manageable way to study. Being clear with yourself on your start and stop times, this is along the same lines, but it's also very helpful, because instead of saying, I'm just going to study until it's time to go out later, or whatever. No, you want to be like, okay, it's 3 o'clock now, I'm going to study till 4:30. You don't really want to do too much more than an hour and a half, 2 hours in a row, because it's easy to get burned out. But being clear with yourself about your start and stop times. Now, this is a huge one for when you actually are sitting down to study. What do you do? So I'm going to refer you to the learning styles component of our website right now, because that's where you can find out your best study strategies. So we all have our own learning styles. Some people learn better by listening. Some people learn better by actually doing something. That would be like a kinesthetic learning style. Some people learn better by watching, and that's a visual. The first one I said, the hearing one, is auditory or aural, A-U-R-A-L. So those are, each of those learning styles, none is better than the other, and often you'll want to use different strategies from all of them, but you can find out what those different strategies are on our learning styles section of the website. Making it very personal, again, is helpful. And then, just a side note, if you're a people person, you might want to try these different ways. Group study sessions can be helpful if you have the kind of group where everybody's serious about the work, you know what I'm talking about. Also, tutoring appointments. Hello, we offer free tutoring in the university tutorial program down in Memorial 12. You can sign up online on TutorTrack. I'll get to that in a second. And visiting your professors in office hours. So if you like to interact with people and you feel like you do better when you're having a conversation about this stuff, those are some great resources to use. With the star for the tutoring appointment, all you do is go to your Hofstra portal, click on My Apps, and then go to the TutorTrack icon. And that brings you to the scheduling system. Or if you want more information on it before you sign up for a tutor, go to hofstra.edu/UTP. And remember, you're not alone. You're not doing this by yourself. College is set up for you to succeed. It might not seem like that a lot of times because there's so much going on, but that's what we're here for. So, the different resources that are available. First of all, professors, obviously. They became professors because they love what they're teaching and they like working with students. So, go ahead and introduce yourself. That's actually, unless you're nasty to them, which you would never be, but it's always going to improve your grade. It's never going to make anything worse. So, you definitely want to make use of the availability of your professors. Another thing is, in class, you have about 20 resources you're surrounded by them, your actual classmates. So it's always good in the beginning of the semester, or whatever point of the semester you're at right now, to grab the cell phone numbers of maybe at least 2 of your classmates, because that way if you miss a day or if you want to set up a study group, then that's a great thing to have. And then also, we have so many resources on campus at Hofstra. Here's a bevy of them for you. And the reason that we're all here is, I'm going to give you a chance to guess. What do you think the one reason all the people who work at Hofstra are here? You! Boom! That's awesome. So come see us. We want to help you. Lastly, today's takeaways. So you might be sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, that was a lot of info, just too much, throwing up a hand, walking away. No, come back. Because even if you just make one addition from this stuff, if you just make one change, that's helpful, and you start from there. It's like that commercial, I don't know if you used to ever hear that commercial on the radio about like eating healthy, and they were saying, change just one thing. So if you have soda with lunch every day, switch to water. That cuts like whatever it is, 200 calories, and just that one thing makes a big difference. Same thing with academic success. You want to just implement one tool that you learned here. And okay, I'll give you a chance right now. Think about it. What tool do you want to implement? On the count of 3, you're going to yell it out. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, that's a really good one. All right. So, good luck, and let me know if there's anything more specific that you want to get into. If you have specific questions about your situation, come to our workshops. The dates are all online. Or shoot us an email at utp@hofstra.edu, or go on our website and check out the suggestion box up in there. It's great. You could just directly send us, hey, this was helpful, or this wasn't helpful, but I want to know more about this. Let us know. That's what we're here for. Like I said, we're here for you. So good luck, and I'll see you soon.